It is 6:30. You can begin when you're ready.
All right, we'll go ahead and open the meeting. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll go to Angela for roll call of the commissioners.
Commissioner Wysong Frick. Present. Commissioner Graybill.
Present.
Commissioner Teal.
Present.
Commissioner Wood.
Present.
Commissioner White.
Present.
Commissioner Wolfius.
Present.
All are accounted. We have a quorum.
All right, so next we have public comment. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on topics that are not listed on the agenda. And we have none, so we'll go on to the approval of our meeting minutes from May 7th.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 7th.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any nay? Against? And no abstain. So they've been approved. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on and open our first public hearing at 6:31. The applicable substantive criteria are listed in the staff report. Testimony, arguments, and evidence must be directed towards the criteria described or other criteria in the plan or land use regulation which the person believes to apply to the decision. Failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the decision maker and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issues precludes appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. We'll start by our declarations for the commission. Does anybody have any personal bias?
No.
No.
None.
I have none. Any conflicts of interest?
No.
No.
None.
And I have none. Any ex parte information?
No.
No. None.
I actually do. It's probably not significant, but I'll just disclose it. Probably about 2 months ago, when they were starting to do a big cleanup of this property, they were just hauling a lot of stuff out. I drive by it because I live on Long Street. So I just happened to notice it. And I'm just a curious person. So I went on the tax rolls to see like if it had been sold recently, you know, what was going on with it. So all I know is, I mean, I don't know anything about this other than I saw the owner's name and when he bought it, and that it was being cleaned up. So it hasn't created a situation. I just figured I would disclose it. Thank you.
Thank you for the disclosure. I have none. All right, so now we'll go to the staff report.
Thank you, commissioners. The applicant is requesting approval of a variance VR 26-03 in conjunction with the proposed three parcel land partition, which is P 26-04. The variance is needed to reduce the standard 60-foot lot frontage requirement to 55 feet for proposed parcel 2 and 57 feet for proposed parcel 3, and to acknowledge an existing legally established 5-foot front yard setback for the dwelling on proposed parcel 2. While each frontage reduction individually falls within the 10% deviation, the combined effect across all three parcels results in a 14.35% deviation, which triggers the variance requirement under Sweet Home Municipal Code 17.106.010. The property is zoned R3 and contains an existing home with no physical changes proposed. It fronts Long Street, a minor arterial already improved with sidewalks, curbs, and gutters, and is served by existing water and sewer services. The site contains no mapped wetlands and is not located within a FEMA special flood hazard area. The need for the variance arises from the development code limitations relating to applying setback and frontage standards to partitions involving legally non-conforming structures when no alterations are planned. Because reducing two
reducing parcel two's frontage would increase the degree of its existing nonconformity. Approval is required under Sweet Home Municipal Code 17.98050A. Surrounding properties exhibit similar longstanding nonconforming setbacks, and approval would maintain consistency with established neighborhood development patterns. Staff find that the request meets the approval criteria of Sweet Home Municipal Code 17.106.060 because unique site conditions warrant the variance. It is necessary to preserve substantial property rights. It represents the minimum adjusted needed and will not negatively impact public welfare or conflict with city plans. No new development is proposed at this time, and staff recommended applying a standard condition that all building and engineering requirements be met at the time of future development. Overall, staff support approval of the variance due to the cumulative frontage deviation and the pre-existing setback condition, which together present circumstances not fully anticipated by the code while remaining compatible with the area's established development pattern. Staff find that the applicant has requested the minimum variance necessary to alleviate the hardship presented by the applicant, and staff have recommended conditions of approval. The application shall be subject to compliance with the listed conditions as required by the findings of fact presented in the review criteria in Section 3. Any modifications to the listed conditions would require approval in accordance with provisions of law, for example, variance, subsequent land applications, etc. The conditions of approval are: 1, approval of the partition application P26-04, and number 2, a building code requirement and engineering design standards be met at the time of development. The Planning Commission will hold a public hearing at which it may either approve or deny the application. If the application is denied, the action must be based on applicable review and design criteria. Staff recommend that the Planning Commission's decision on this matter be subject to a 12-day appeal period from the date that the decision is mailed. After the Planning Commission makes a decision, staff recommend that the Planning Commission direct staff to prepare an order that is signed by the chairperson of the Planning Commission. The order shall memorialize the decision and provide the official list of conditions, if any, that apply to the approval, if the application is approved. After opening of the public hearing and receiving testimony, the Planning Commission's options include the following. 1, move to approve application VR 26-03 and thereby permit the variance for the subject lot located at 2034 Long Street, Sweet Home, Oregon 97386, identified on Linn County's Assessor's Map as 13S01E32BC, tax lot 02900. Adopting the findings of fact listed in Section 3 of the staff report, the setting of a 12-day appeal period from the date of the mailing of the decision, and hereby direct staff to prepare an order to be signed by the chair to memorialize this decision. 2, move to deny application VR 26-03 for the subject lot located at 2034 Long Street, Sweet Home, Oregon 97386, identified on the Linn County Assessor's Map as 13S01E 32BC, tax lot 02900. Adopting the findings of fact, and you must specify the setting of a 12-day appeal period from the date of the mailing decision, and hereby direct staff to prepare an order to be signed by the chair to memorialize the decision. 3, move to continue the public hearing to a date and time certain, or 4, other. Do the commissioners have any questions of staff?
So I just had a question just about the partition and this variance specifically, because this one we're hearing about the variance first. And so the variance is for the 2 lots in the front, one that had like a standing variance on it. It was that building.
The one with the frontage, that's
Mhm.
actually a pre-existing non-conforming setback.
Okay.
So the variance, so with the setback combined with the proposed building width, with the building line, lost my train of thought there, which typically is 60 feet. So the reduction of the 60-foot setback, and then in combination with that lot 2, it makes that lot more non-conforming. So, which is why the variance is it's the combination of the 3.
Okay. Thank you.
And for context, one of those lots were to have be proposed for the lot of building line reduction, it would be under the 10%, which would be an adjustment application, not a variance application. So the combination is what caused it to be a variance application.
Okay. Do we have any other questions for staff before our applicant's testimony?
Nope.
Oh. All right.
Nope.
Well, then we'll move on to our applicant's testimony. I'll invite our applicant to come forward and share information, if he is here. Yeah, please come on up. Yeah, have a seat and state your name and address for the record.
I'm Andrew Johnston. You say address?
Yes, please.
735 Walnut Street.
Wonderful.
It's my first time at one of these hearings, so bear
That's
with
all
me
right.
here.
Just share with us a little bit about the application and what you're planning to do here.
Sure, just a 3-parcel partition. It seems pretty standard aside from the variance. Seems in line with everyone in the neighborhood. And the client has already done a lot of cleanup in that area. It was pretty messy, if you can see on that aerial image. So I'm sure you have all the details in the application. They'll follow all developmental standards. And from a survey point of view, it's pretty straightforward, not a whole lot going on.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions for our applicant?
So there's no building proposed at this time?
Not at this time. It really is dependent on the result of all this. I think he's still toying with some ideas, but he's not set on anything right now.
You're just the surveyor, right?
Just the
You're not-
surveyor.
Not part of the property ownership or
No.
anything.
No. But I've asked him the same and he hasn't given me an answer just yet. So I think we're really just waiting on the lots to be settled, and this is what he wants to shoot for first, and then I guess we'll go from there.
Do you know and maybe you helped choose the reasons for these particular parcels, why they did the two narrow side by side instead of utilizing more of the space?
I don't know his intent. He gave me his little plot plan and I just drafted it up.
Thank you.
And it's not really part of this application of any future partition. Correct.
Nope, it is not.
Any other questions of our applicant?
Nope. No.
Nope.
All right, thank you so much. All
Okay, thank you.
right, so now we'll move to our proponent's testimony. That's testimony from those wishing to speak in favor of the application. And we have none present. So we'll move to opponent's testimony. That's testimony from those wishing to speak in opposition of the application. And there are none present. So we'll move to neutral testimony. And that's testimony from those that are neither in favor or in opposition of the application. And there are none. So with that, we will go ahead and close our public hearing at 6:42 and move to discussion amongst the panel and the commissioners. I think the staff did a great job of explaining why the variances are needed and why these lots are non-conforming.
I'm sure that anyone that's drove down Long Street in their life looks at that house and thinks, wow, it sits so close to the road and sidewalk, but it's old and it's been there forever. Not a long walk from your front door to your car if you're parked on the street.
Well, both of those lots, parcel 2 and parcel 3, are fairly small. But that's the way things are going now. Smaller lots, as long as there's room to build on them.
A lot of, I think most of the houses in that area, well, there's a mix. Some of them do have fairly good sized lots, but the houses directly across the street, well, maybe they have deeper lots. There's kind of a mix there of pretty small lots and then bigger lots, so it does fit the area.
And they do fit with the lot size requirements, the minimum lot size requirements, so.
Creating the more lots there, it seems to align with our comprehensive plan and, adding additional housing. Well, I mean, there's not housing now, but lots mean the possibility of that in the future.
Yes.
And small lots often mean affordable housing, which is also nice.
And that is the goal.
Mm. Does anybody have any concerns or any more discussion? Questions for staff?
It is pretty close to the four-way stop right there. Is there any like requirements? I know this would be in the future, but say they were going to put houses in, is there requirements on driveways with,
There is, and if you
Traffic.
can see on the site plan, so there's some existing driveway aprons there. And there will probably have to be a shared site plan. Again, we don't have the building plans yet, but the way that it's been a while since I've driven down there, but the way that that's settled, there will probably have to be some shared access there. Because we're only allowed so many driveways within so many feet. Don't quote me, but I think it's 22 feet between them, and then there's only so many that can be close to there. So, okay. So that is accounted for. There's, I think, 2 aprons on that big piece, and they'll use that as joint access.
Well, I don't have any concerns.
Seems to me to be a reasonable approach. Okay. Seems to me to be a reasonable approach, considering the property as it now is.
I agree. I believe it's a reasonable accommodation for increasing the density and the opportunity for houses
Mhm.
or duplexes or whatever.
and really the main part of this property, I mean, for some reason, I just noticed this property and have for pretty much the whole time I've lived in Sweet Home. Most of it has just been used as vacant ground. So, I mean, I kind of always wondered when someone was going to divide that up and do something with it.
Well then. I'll look for a motion then if we don't have any other questions for staff.
I don't have any other questions.
Well then, I'll move to approve application P26-04 and thereby permit the partition for the subject lot located at 2034 Long Street, Sweet Home, Oregon 97386, identified on the Lynn County Assessor's Map as 13S01E32BC, tax lot 02900, adopting the findings of fact listed in section 3 of the staff report, the setting of a 12-day appeal period from the date of the mailing of the decision, and hereby direct staff to prepare an order to be signed by the chair to memorialize this decision.
I second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Then that passes. It has been approved. We'll move on. Are we doing 2?
Mhm.
Yes. So now we'll move to P26-04, opening the hearing at 6:48. The applicable substantive criteria are listed in the staff report. Testimony, arguments, and evidence must be directed towards the criteria described or other criteria in the plan or land use regulation which the person believes to apply to the decision. Failure to raise an issue accompanied by the statements or evidence sufficient to afford the decision maker and parties to an opportunity to respond to the issue precludes appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. Does the commission have any personal bias?
No,
No.
No,
None. Any conflicts of interest?
no,
No.
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 I have none. Any ex parte information?
No.
No.
As stated prior, I had looked up the information about 2 months ago on the Lynn County website, just because I was interested to see what was going on with that place.
Thank you. And I have none. With that, we'll go to Angela for the staff report.
Thank you, Commissioners. The applicant proposes a 3-parcel land partition of an approximately 27,858 square foot property located in the residential high-density R3 zone. The request would create parcel 1 at approximately 17,724 square feet, parcel 2 containing the existing dwelling at approximately 5,126 square feet, and parcel 3 at approximately 5,008 square feet. Because the applicant is also requesting lot widths of 55 feet for parcel 2 and 57 feet for parcel 3, where 60 feet is required, as well as a recognition of legally established 5-foot front yard setback for the existing dwelling on parcel 2, a variance VR 26-03 is required. Although each individual width reduction is within the 10% adjustable allowance, the cumulative deviation among all parcels is 14.35%, exceeding the threshold permitted without a variance. Additionally, the partition increases an existing non-conforming setback, which further necessitates approval of VR 26-03. Application P26-04 is therefore contingent upon the approval of VR 26-03, and both applications will be reviewed together by the Planning Commission. The subject property fronts Long Street and minor arterial improved with sidewalks, curbs, and gutters, and has approximately 196 feet of frontage. All proposed parcels will have direct access to Long Street, and the configuration does not include any flag lots. Based on the tentative partition plat, the parcels meet required dimensional standards, with none exceeding the maximum depth to width ratio. Parcel 1 has an average width of 99 feet and depth of 185 feet. Parcel 2 has an average width of 52.5 feet and a depth of 98.5 feet. And parcel 3 has an average width of 56.5 feet and a depth of 89 feet. The existing residence on parcel 2 will remain, and with a floor area of approximately 960 square feet, it will occupy roughly 19% of the parcel, well below the 40% lot coverage maximum. Parcel 1 and 3 are currently vacant with no development proposed at this time. Existing city water and sewer services serve the dwelling, and future utility connections for the remaining parcels will be reviewed at the time of the building permit submittal. A storm channel exists on the south side of Long Street, and required utility easements will be recorded with the final plat. No additional street improvements are required. The site is not located in a special flood hazard area according to the FEMA firm panel 41043C0913G, and no wetlands are mapped on the property by either the statewide wetlands inventory or the national wetlands inventory. The tentative partition map was submitted on March 31st, 2026, and the application was deemed complete on April 2nd, 2026. Staff recommend a condition requiring approval of VR 26-03 prior to the approval of P26-04, as well as conditions ensuring that all future development on any of the parcels comply with the applicable provisions of Sweet Home Municipal Code Chapter 17.14.070, 17.42, 17.44, 17.46, 17.48, and 17.58.050. With these conditions in place, staff find that the application meets the applicable review criteria and minimum standards of the R3 zone. The application shall be subject to the compliance with the listed conditions as required by the findings of fact presented in the review criteria in Section 3. Any modifications to the listed conditions would require approval in accordance with provisions of law. For example, variance, subsequent land use application, etc. Conditions of approval. Number 1, the final configuration of proposed parcels 1, 2, and 3 shall substantially conform to the plot plan reviewed in this application, which is attachment B. Proposed parcel 1 shall be approximately 17,724 square feet. Proposed parcel 2 shall be approximately 5,126 square feet. Proposed parcel 3 shall be approximately 5,008 square feet. Number 2, approval of variance application VR 26-03 is required. If the variance is not approved, the partition application must also be denied. Number 3, the application access and utility easements shall be shown on the final plat. Number 4, all development shall comply with the applicable development standards of the Sweet Home Municipal Code Chapter 17.14 and Title 17, Article 3 at the time of development. Number 5, a final survey of the approved plat shall be recorded within 2 years of the final decision. Failure to record a plat within that required time period shall void the approval and require a new partitioning application. The city manager shall sign the final plat if the plat substantially conforms to the approved preliminary plat and if the conditions of approval are satisfied. The final plat shall conform to the requirements of ORS Chapter 92 and applicable county surveying requirements. The final plat shall be recorded with Lynn County and a copy of the recorded document shall be submitted to the city. The applicant shall be responsible for all recording fees. No parcels shall be sold, transferred, or assigned until the final approved plat is recorded and evidence of the recording is submitted to the city. Building permits shall not be issued prior to the recording of the final plat if the proposed structure will violate this code absent recording the partition per Sweet Home Municipal Code 17.98.060. Number 6, development of subject parcels shall comply with the applicable local, state, and federal requirements. The Planning Commission will hold a public hearing at which it may either approve or deny the application. If the application is denied, the action must be based on applicable review and design criteria. Staff recommend the Planning Commission's decision on this matter be subject to a 12-day appeal period from the date that the decision is mailed. After the Planning Commission makes a decision, staff recommend that the Planning Commission direct staff to prepare an order that is signed by the chairperson of the Planning Commission. The order shall memorialize the decision and provide the official list of conditions, if any, that apply to the approval, if the application is approved. After the opening of the public hearing and receiving testimony, the Planning Commission's options include the following. 1, move to approve application P26-04 and thereby permit the partition for the subject lot located at 2034 Long Street, Sweet Home, Oregon, 97386, identified on the Lynn County Assessor's Map S13S01E 32BC, tax lot 02900. Adopting the findings of fact listed in section 3 of the staff report, the setting of a 12-day appeal period from the date of the mailing of the decision, and hereby direct staff to prepare an order to be signed by the chair to memorialize this decision. Number 2, move to deny application P26-04 for the subject lot located at 2034 Long Street, Sweet Home, Oregon, 97386, identified on the Lynn County Assessor's Map S13S01E 32BC, tax lot 02900. Adopting the findings of fact, you must specify the setting of a 12-day appeal period from the date of the mailing of decision and hereby direct staff to prepare an order to be signed by the chair to memorialize this decision. Number 3, move to continue the public hearing to a time certain, or number 4, other. Is there any questions of staff?
I don't have a question, but I did realize that I read the wrong motion to approve after the last hearing. So,
Did you read the partition of the?
yes, I did. Yeah.
I didn't even hear it, so.
Yes, they're in the opposite order in our binder, so that's
Oh, my apologies.
where we got confused. Right, so we're looking at the first section of our binder is the partition. Now we approved the variance.
My apologies for putting that in
the
backwards.
last. No, that's okay. So this is looking at the partition itself.
And the partition was reliant on the variance, and since the variance was approved, then the partition can now be heard, so.
The 12-day appeal period that you talk about, is that only for like the owner, or is that, say, if a neighbor all of a sudden has a big deal about it, they can also
So
appeal?
in order to appeal land use decision, you have to have either submitted a comment ahead of the meeting, been here to testify at the meeting. So you can't just after the fact come in and appeal. So the owner, the applicant, anybody that fills out a comment can come appeal it, but you can't just come after the fact. You have to testify either in writing or in person in order to appeal the decision.
That is good information. Thank you.
And neighbors have been notified.
Yes. Yes, a variance is 300 feet from the property. So typically a partition is only 100 feet, but since they are being heard together, they have to be heard as a type 3, which is 300 feet. So. And I received no public comment. So.
If the large, excuse me, if the large partition one can be partitioned again, conforming to all rules and city codes, it may not need to come back to the planning commission unless there's a change or something, a variance may be needed on it. I know that's a big if, and it's an if that's a year or 5 or 20 down the road. But it can be partitioned without coming through commission again.
Yes.
Okay.
And this, if there wouldn't have been the reduction in lot building lines, would not have come to the planning commission. So it would have been an administrative decision. So
Right. Okay.
All right, well, I will invite our applicant up then for testimony. Come back up. Please state your name and your address again for the record.
Andrew Johnston, 735 Walnut Street, Lebanon.
All right, do you have anything else you want to add? Any information besides the staff report?
I don't.
All right, do we have any questions for our applicant?
No.
no,
No.
Nope.
No.
I don't have any either. Thank you so much for coming up.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move to our proponent's testimony. That's testimony from those wishing to speak in favor of the application. We have none present. So we'll move to opponent's testimony. That's testimony from those wishing to speak in opposition of the application, and we have none present. So we'll move to neutral testimony. That's testimony from those that are neither in favor nor in opposition of the application, and there are none present. So do we have any other questions, or do we want to invite our applicant up for a rebuttal? All right, with that, I'll close the public hearing at 7:01 for discussion amongst the commission. I don't really have any questions or concerns.
I think mine were all addressed in the initial discussion.
Yes.
Hmm.
I agree.
No further questions.
I have no further questions or concerns.
Okay. Then I'll wait for a motion.
My answer still the same. It's a reasonable approach.
So which motion are we
It's the
supposed
the
first one.
partition.
The
It's the
partition one in the
first-
front,
the
the one
first
that I
one.
read by accident, yes.
It'll be the one for P26-04.
Do it. It's getting confused.
Are we
I-
ready for a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Right?
I move to approve application PL26 or P26-04 and thereby permit the petition for the subject lot located at 2034 Long Street, Sweet Home, Oregon 97386, identified on the Lynn County Assessor's Map as one 3S01E32 BC, tax lot 02900, adopting the findings of fact listed in section 3 of the staff report, the setting of a 12-day appeal period for the date of the mailing of the decision, and hereby direct staff to prepare an order to be signed by the chair to memorialize the decision.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Then it is approved.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right.
Thank you for taking for the team.
So now we'll
Madam-
move to our staff updates.
Yeah. I have a question.
Mhm.
While we were out of sequence on the making of the motion in the second and all that,
Yes,
it's probably academic, but I think we ought to at least go back and redo the variance motion
That was gonna be
and do
my
it.
request.
I
Yes.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
All right, so we are going to reopen our hearing then for VR 26-03. We've heard the staff report and our applicant's testimony. There's no proponents or opponents' testimony present. So I'm going to close the hearing again at 7:05 for discussion amongst the commissioners.
All of my discussion was done in the initial discussion.
All right. If there's agreement amongst the commission, I will move again to approve application VR 26-03 and thereby permit the variance for the subject lot located at 2034 Long Street, Sweet Home, Oregon, 97386, identified in the Lynn County Assessor's Map as 13S01E32BC, tax lot 02900, adopting the findings of fact listed in section 3 of the staff report, the setting of a 12-day appeal period from the date of the mailing of the decision, and hereby direct staff to prepare an order to be signed by the chair to memorialize this decision.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Then the motion passes.
Thank you for correcting that.
Yes. Make sure everything's official and correct on the.
And I apologize for putting those
Transcript.
backwards.
Well, I was flipping through and I was like, man, I'm really lost today.
I was so concerned about getting you all new binders that weren't falling apart that
Well, they
I
look
didn't.
beautiful.
So I
Thank you.
didn't pay attention to the order I was putting them in. So,
No worries.
I do have, one specific thing to do. Well, it's not really staff update. It's technically, planning commission business. So I'll maybe wait till the next one. But as far as staff updates go, we've had an odd amount of adjustments and variances this year, more than normal. But we are still working a lot of partitions, property line adjustments. The zone map amendment will go in front of city council next week. The one that you guys voted on the last time. So for the school district, that goes in front of city council next week. Other than that, we're just trudging ahead with code updates, and every time I think I'm done, I find more. But there's going to be a point where I'm just going to cut it off. So, especially after talking to Patrick, I have plenty I need to send him to take a look at. So, it was good that you guys got to meet him, because that is my point of contact for land use decisions and applications and land use rules. They have a really great website, to go out. You can go out there and they give you like short cheat sheets of which bills have passed and Senate bills, and kind of summaries of what you have to have in your code depending on where you are. And it's a great place. I can go out and take a look. And then if I have to dive deeper into it, then I can ask them questions. But it's always a great place to start, because they've already summarized it all for you. And you don't have to go try to read. I don't know if you guys have ever read a Senate or a House bill. I'm so glad for summaries. And then if I need more details, I can call and ask them. So it's, so I'm glad you guys got a chance to meet him, because he's gotten me through a lot of questions where I'm going, I don't know what to do with this. So, so I'm looking forward to the next code updates. There's some definitely that we need to get done, especially with the middle housing and the Affordable Housing Act. There's, so that should be, I'm hoping to have my portion of it done into DLCD for their audit here within the next few weeks. And then hopefully you guys will see it by midsummer.
Oh, good.
So,
All right. And we can start trudging through it again.
It won't be as big as the last one, because we didn't combine two of them and get rid of one, so it won't be that big.
Okay, sounds good. Do we have any other questions for staff? All right, make it
Henry,
into
can
your
you-
mic.
That's an opinion.
All right.
We just dealt with the front yard setback. But if you travel to many, many other cities, I don't care, Portland, Lake Oswego, 'cities on the East Coast and Europe, small setbacks on the front are common. And I wonder if we shouldn't rethink it sometime in the future. Setbacks of 5 feet are just common.
Is there anything in the new code updates that is changing that or making it more flexible for people?
Not that I've run across so far, but I haven't looked into, I'm still sorting through the last set of House bills and Senate bills. I'm almost done with those. And then I will be reaching out to see what else has passed since then and try to get all those incorporated. So I haven't seen anything. There's some other, I haven't seen anything with setbacks. You know,
Okay.
there's some other adjustments that they're asking cities to make, but so far I haven't seen anything with setbacks. And I know part of the setback issue is a clear vision issue of in and out of driveways. So that's part of it. You know, people with fences, you know, how close it is. So being able to see to come in and out of your driveway. So I'm not sure. That is something I'll look into though, Henry, and see if there's any kind of state statute that says a change for that.
Well, I have a question.
Mhm.
We were at the joint meeting talking about the changes coming down from Salem, the new codes, new things that we have to apply, rules and regulations that fit in, like Portland, don't fit in Sweet Home, don't fit in Burns. Is there any leeway?
So
If
how they,
there's a code that comes down, a change, do we have any leeway, any way that we can say, wait a minute, that doesn't work for us?
so how they have it divided right now is not based on city or region, it's based on your population size. So I think it's Senate Bill 2001, which is what 458 was a secondary of. If you're under 10,000 population, there's certain guidelines that you have to follow. 10,000 to 25,000, which is what we're in now, which is what prompted the duplexes on all lots, smaller lot sizes, being able to divide the duplexes. So that's what kicked that in. And then once you're 25,000, I don't remember the next section. I know like Lebanon is in that section. So we don't all have to comply with the exact same rules. It's based on our population size. There are some that are consistent throughout. But right now, as far as everything, it's still pretty consistent with population size. So something that might be a code up in Portland is not necessarily going to apply to us, or even Salem. Even codes from Albany wouldn't apply to us and vice versa. So it usually and what it usually does is the middle and the middle housing criteria gets, I guess you could say, more flexible the bigger your population is. Like we still have a little control about how flexible that is. With our 458 divisions for the duplexes, you know, we have the options of requiring, you know, more paved pathways and different things, you know, because we're allowing them to divide and sell a duplex separately, kind of like a townhome. It's being treated more like a townhome than it is a duplex. So we have the ability to require some extra provisions in there if they're going to do that. So what the new ones, like I said, you know, I'm still working into that. There is a subdivision one that I'm hoping to get a different answer about. So, but other than that, there's nothing real shocking, well, except for maybe the subdivision one, but that I've come across so far.
But what comes down from Salem that fits our size, we have to obey.
Correct.
We have no way to say we don't like that or we don't want to do that.
No, I mean, you can appeal but I think you have to appeal it during the time that the hearings are going on. I've never done that, so I'm not one to ask. So that would be probably a Patrick question, not a me question. But I think it would have to be appealed during the hearing period of it and not after it's passed. So for the most part, it's all been fairly reasonable. Like I said, they're really pushing the affordable and middle housing. So we're going to see a lot of requirements become more flexible to allow more affordable housing. And that's the trend that I'm seeing. So, like I said, hopefully I will have some of this to you guys. You know, and there's, we can sometimes have flexibility. It kind of depends on the criteria. You know, like I said, with the being able to divide the duplexes, we were able to add on some additional criteria to kind of balance out the fact that we're going to be doing these. And that's been a very popular procedure. I have done a lot of duplex divisions, a lot of them. So, which kind of surprised me at first, but we've done quite a few. So.
You may or may not know this. I've always wondered, so like our signs outside of town that give the population, is that the population of just inside the bounds of Sweet Home? And so that's
City limits.
City
That
or
is-
city limits, thank
yeah.
you. So we have now officially like 10,000 people inside the city limits.
Correct.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's probably a little bit more than that. So
Yeah.
that number is based off of census numbers. And those are only so many years. Internally in Angela's department, we do a PSU study with Portland State University that they update yearly. And they take into account demolition permits, so how many houses were removed, as well as C of Os issued. So they know how many new houses were finished that year. And so it's a more up-to-date number. So the sign at the city limits is typically lagging. It's normally actually higher than that by
And if
100 or so.
And if you don't know, C of O is certificate of occupancy, means that the build is complete and final. So, but yeah, when we go to look at putting the law into place, we look at the PSU criteria. When we were getting ready to do the code in 2023, we knew we were going to jump over that 10,000 mark. So we went ahead and updated our code to prepare for that because it was within a year that we ended up reaching that standard. So we have a while before we reach 25,000. So I'm not so worried about getting to that next step. So I think we're pretty cushy in that 10 to 25,000 range now for a while. But yeah, that's typically where we'll go find our population data. So.
Yeah.
And if you're ever curious, that PSU survey is public record. You can do a Google search and just look up PSU population survey, and you can find all the data from years past and see where we jumped up and watch the fluctuation.
I'll probably look it up because I like looking up random things and knowing random facts for some reason. I don't know why. It's just
They have some
my thing.
demographics on there too, kind of some division of demographics if you really want to get nerdy and get into it. So yeah.
Dig into data.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know the most random things. I know a little bit about a lot. And then there's some things I know a lot about a little bit, but
Mhm.
I'm a curious person.
All right, well, I'll adjourn our
Wait,
meeting.
hold on. Whoa.
No, you have
Hold on
something else?
here. So, you guys saw the email. Commissioner Melcher has resigned. And so she spends more time with family. So that was a really good excuse. So we are now lacking a vice chair. So we need to elect a vice chair, since we don't have one anymore. So, we don't have to do that tonight. I just want to bring it up. So if you guys want to think about it and I just don't know when our next meeting is going to be. Actually, I do. It's going to be the first meeting in July. So we either do it tonight or we do it the first meeting in July. So I'll leave that up to you, but that is something we'll need to do.
How do we go about choosing that? Does someone just say,
You nominate one of your
Nominate.
fellow commissioners, somebody seconds it, or someone challenges and wants to do it. So
Goes
If
quick.
anybody is interested in doing it, please feel free to volunteer.
I actually might be interested in trying it out?
Yes. Well, if you're interested, I will second that.
Okay.
Anybody else in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Any opposed? Well, then Commissioner Wyson Frick is our new vice chair.
I'm gonna have to brush up on my reading
But what I'll
and
do,
public skills.
what I'll do is I kind of give a cheat sheet and I wrote all over it. So I'll give you the same cheat sheet. So when Chair Wood is not here, then
Example.
yeah,
Just ask Angela. She'll lead you in the right direction.
I'm great at cheat sheets because I need them too.
As we know, I'm very fluent in asking questions and direction.
It's good.
We like that.
Okay, that's all
All
I
right.
had.
Okay, then I will adjourn the meeting now at 7:20. Okay,
Okay.
well, thank you.
Good.